Chapter 4 of Bill and Doreen's Married Life, from Doreen, by Clarence James Dennis. Recording by Son of the Exiles. Chapter 4 Possum. Just 'ere it gripped me on a sudden like a red-hot knife. I was diggin' in the garden, talkin' pleasant to me wife, when it got me good an' solid, an' I fetches out a yell, an' curses soft down in me neck, an' breathes 'ard for a spell. Then when I tries to straighten up, it stabs me 10 times worse. I think per'aps I'm dyin', an' chokes back a real 'ot curse. "I've worked too fast," I tells Doreen. "Me backbone's runnin' 'ot. I'm sick, I've got — oh, 'oly wars, I dunno what I've got. Just 'ere, don't touch! Just round back 'ere, a blazin' little pain is clawin' up me spinal cord an' slidin' down again." "You come inside," she says. "Per'aps it's stoopin' in the sun. Does it 'urt much?" I says, "Oh, no, I'm havin' lots of fun." Then cooing to me, woman-like, she pilots me inside. It stabs me every step I takes. I thought I would 'a' died. "There now," she says, "men can't stand pain. It's always understood." "Stand pain!" I 'owls. Then jumpin' jakes. It gets me really good. So I gets to bed in sections, for it gives me beans to bend, an' shuts me eyes an' groans again, an' just waits for the end. "Now you lie still," she orders me, "until I think what's best. Per'aps 'ot bran or poultices. You just lie still an' rest." Rest! 'Oly gosh! I clenched me teeth an' clawed the bloomin' bunk, for a red 'ot poker jabbed me every time I much as wunk. I couldn't cough, I couldn't move, I couldn't get me breath. "Look after Bill," I tells Doreen. "I feels that this is death." "Death fiddlesticks," she laughs at me. "You just turn over now." I 'owls, "'Ere, don't you touch me, or there'll be a blazin' row." "I wanter die just as I am," she says. "Now, Bill, 'ave sense. This 'as to go on while it's 'ot." I groans, "I've no defence." An' so she 'as 'er way wiv me, an' though I'm sufferin' bad, I couldn't 'elp but noticin' the gentle touch she 'ad. That evenin', when the doctor come, says 'e, "Ah, 'urtin' much? Where is the trouble?" I says, "Where you ain't allowed to touch." 'E mauls an' prods me, while I 'owls to beat the bloomin' band. Gawd blimey, I'd 'a' cracked 'im if I'd strength to lift me 'and. "Describe your symptoms now," says 'e. I fills meself wiv wind, an' slings 'im out a catalogue, while 'e just stood an' grinned. "Aha!" 'e says. "Sciatica! I will soon 'ave you well." "Sciatica?" says I. "You sure you don't mean jumpin' 'ell? It ain't no private devil wiv a jagged little knife." "Tut, tut," 'e grins. "You'll soon be right. I leaves you to your wife." I looks at 'er, she smiles at me, an' when I seen that smile, "Oh, poultices!" I groans, an' she enjoys it all the while. But I'm married to a woman, an' I gives you my straight tip. It makes a man feel glad of it when sickness gets a grip. 'Er looks is full of tenderness, 'er ways is full of love, an' 'er touch is like a blessin' as she gently bends above. 'Er speech is firm but motherin', 'er manners strict but mild. You're 'er 'usband an' 'er patient, an' 'er little orphan child. When you're married to a woman, an' you're feelin' well an' right, when your frame is full of ginger an' your mouth is full of skite, then you talk about the missus in an off-hand sort of way. She's 'andy in the 'ouse if she don't 'ave too much to say. But when old man Sciatica, 'e does you up real neat, then she's your own real mate, she is, and all your hands and feet. And so Doreen she nurses me while I lie there and grouch, for I'm snarky when I tumble that it ain't me dyin' couch. I barks at her and snarls at her and orders her about, and nearly wears the feet off her with trottin' in and out. And while old man Sciatica he has me in his sway, Doreen she just gives in to me and always gets her way. 3 solid days I 'as of it, and then the pain lets out. I'm feelin' fit for graft again, and wants to get about. It's then she lets me see her 'and, and orders you stay there until you get your 'ealth and strength to sit up in a chair. "But there's that stove wood," I begins. Says she, "Now don't you fret. I'm very sparin' with it, an' there's tons an' tons there yet. Tell you straight, I got to like it. It's a crook thing to confess, but to 'ave 'er fussin' round me give me chunks of 'appiness. So I gets out in the garden with an armchair and a rug, an' I comes the floppin' invalid and makes meself real snug. I droops me eyes an' 'angs me 'ands an' looks dead crook an' ill, an' wriggles every time she says, "What would you like now, Bill?" An' then one day I hears the axe down there be'ind the 'ouse, an' I sees meself a loafer, an' me conscience starts to rouse. I 'eaves me frame out of the chair an' wanders down the yard. She's beltin' at a knotty log, an' beltin' good an' 'ard. I grabs the axe. "Give up," I says. "I ain't no shattered wreck. This 'ere's my job." An' then, Gorstruth, I gets it in the neck. "Am I your wife?" she asks me straight. "Why can't you trust me, Bill? Am I not fit to see to things when you are weak an' ill?" I tries to say I'm possumin' an' really well an' strong, but every time I starts to talk she gets me in the wrong. "You can't deceive me, Bill," she says. "Your 'ealth is far from good. You just can't trust your wife to chop a little bit of wood. You gotter come out in the cold," she says, "without your wraps. An' now I'll 'ave you on me 'ands for days wiv a relapse." "I been pretendin'," I explains. She says, "Am I your wife? Yet sooner than you'd trust to me you'd go an' risk your life." Well, I'm married to a woman, an' it might seem sorter meek, I goes back into bed again an' 'ates it for a week. The End. End of Chapter 4. Recording by Son of the Exiles. End of Bill and Doreen's married life from Doreen by Clarence James Dennis.